Hi, it's Mike Thornton from Pro Tools Expert down at BVE in London, and now we're on the Sennheiser stand, and we've come to look at this very interesting microphone. Ambisonics has been around quite a while, but I think with virtual reality we can say that Ambisonics has now found a really good application. And the reason I'm wearing headphones is because I'm actually listening to myself coming back through this Ambisonic mic, so I can actually hear with a binaural processor what's happening. I'm joined here with Andy Lillywhite from Sennheiser. Now, we've got this mic here, it's Ambisonics. So just talk us through the process that we've got here.
I'll start by bringing out the other one that we've got here, with it, which has had its grill taken off. Don't use it like this, by the way, because it will pick up a lot of hum and noise. The grill is actually part of the RF eye protection for the microphone. What we're seeing here is it's a tetrahedral microphone. It's got 4 cardioid capsules to pick up a complete 360-degree spherical 3D sound representation. That outputs, those 4 capsule outputs appear as 4 XLRs. If we look down here, which at the moment, for the purpose of this demo, we're taking into this Focusrite interface. There's 4 balanced XLRs. Phantom power needed on 2 of the 4 channels to make it work. I've just turned all 4 on anyway. As we're down here, we'll talk about what has happened here. This interface doesn't have linked gain controls. We've got 4 knobs, good old-fashioned analog knobs, and simply putting them in the same position doesn't quite give us the accuracy we need to get. It's very important for for an Ambisonic mic to work that we get the levels absolutely matched. We've got 4 matched capsules in the microphone. They're definitely matched, so we're not a problem there. But if we don't get these exactly matched here, we're going to have a bit of a problem. So we get around that, in this case, by using a little ping, in this case, pink noise generator, which is phantom powered, and I just put it into each channel one at a time and set the levels by reference to the digital audio workstation to get the levels matched. So that's what that was for. Obviously, if you get an interface that's got linked gains and digitally controllable gains, that's a lot easier. So that's a good idea. But it proves you can do it without. Can be done.
So coming out of the microphone,
yes.
It's 4 channels, and it's what's called in Ambisonics A format,
Correct.
Isn't it?
Ambisonic A format. And if we come up to the screen here, we come to the next part of the workflow. So those 4 mics coming into the interface appear as a 4-channel track in Reaper here, and we can open, this is the Sennheiser plugin, the Ambeo plugin. Let's move that out of the way of the screen. This is the bit of software that we provide. It's free download off the Sennheiser website, and it's an A to B, converts Ambisonic A format to Ambisonic B format. So the 4 microphone channels come in here. You see the colours, standard colours for Ambisonic channel identification. The same colours that are indicated on the XLRs down here. So it comes in A format here. We've got the ability to select the orientation of the mic that was used when we were recording. So it's vitally important that we know which orientation the mic was in.
Yeah. So at the moment it's obviously upright, but if you were slinging it, then you could effectively turn it upside down. And obviously, if you're end fire, maybe using it on a boom, then you've got that ability to turn the mic round in the orientation that it was used when it was recorded. Because you can record it because you're recording A format, but in the process of doing the conversion to the B format, you need to tell the Ambeo software how the mic was orientated when it was recorded.
Yeah, correct. And as well as that, being able to select the orientation upright, upside down, and end fire, as you say, we can also rotate. So if we found we didn't quite position it correctly and we don't want to go back into shot to move the mic, we can rotate it here. In fact, at the moment I've got this set to 180 degrees because on the microphone here it actually says up and front, so the microphone is orientated that way, and in order for it to sound the right way around in your headphones, I've rotated it to 180 degrees, so hopefully you can hear me on the correct side.
I can.
Good. So we've got the orientation. Over here we can see the 4 output channels in the Ambisonic B format, and we can select the 2 different formats up here. We can select between Ambix and Fuma format
just briefly explain the difference between the two formats? Why do we need two formats?
A good question. Why do we need to? Well, we have to have standards are great, so let's have lots of them. The changes to channel order. There are a different channel order and a different level on the way the W channel is summed is slightly different for the two formats. So it's vital that you get the right format for your finished product to match wherever it's going with the destination. So we're using the Ambix one at the moment, which will become apparent why when we move further down the flow. I just want to talk quickly about this side, the top left of the screen, where we have the Ambisonics correction filter. This is a filter that's applied, and that's the bit that's specific to this microphone. I don't mean this exact one, but the Ambisonic VR mic itself. That corrects for the fact that the capsules don't literally occupy the same space. They can't. So it corrects for that, basically. And we've got a low cut filter should we want it. That really is that's the whole of the Sennheiser Ambeo plugin, I think.
But moving forward down the workflow, so now we're in B format. We can then again process from that. We could take it from B format into 5.1. But in this case, because ultimately we're looking at sort of often binaural, which again is what we're likely to be doing with sort of VR technology. It's going to be earphones, earpieces, that sort of technology. We're going to take the Ambisonics and essentially eventually tip it into binaural.
Yes, correct. And of course, normally the rendering into binaural is going to happen in the device that you're using to view and to listen on. So you're going to have the 4 channels of audio. The Ambisonic B channels are going to be stored or relayed to the device that you're viewing on. But in order to monitor the work that we're doing, we're rendering it to binaural. As you say, you could render it to other formats from. That's the beauty of Ambisonics, really, is that you can render it to anything if you can find the right tools to do it.
So what's the next tool down the chain?
Okay, so the next tool down the chain at the moment for us here, we've got an extra channel here which we're not using today, which is to allow us to add a spot mic to our Ambisonic mix. So we've got 2 channels that are 4-channel sources now. So the next point in our chain is this channel here, where we are simply summing those 2 4-channel Ambisonic feeds. So this is our first order Ambisonics master channel. That is the channel you would render, and that would become your output for your work with your video. This final channel on the end is the one we've titled Listen Back. And this is where we have the other plugin that we're using. This is not our plugin, this is just for demonstration purposes. We have a couple, in fact, on here. The one we're using, the one that you're listening to right now, is the Noisemaker's Ambi Head.
Yeah.
And that's doing the rendering to binaural for you. And in here, this is why we need to get the format of the B format correct to start with, because this plugin has to be told which track order the B format is arriving in, and we can select Ambix and Fuma here. So if we change this one, we have to change all the other ones. And Ambix happens to be the order that YouTube uses as well. So, and the only other thing we can change in this plugin is the HRTF, Head Related Transfer Function, which is an attempt to, how should we say it? Ideally, we'd all have our own HRTF file, but as we don't, there are
some sort of generic modelled,
thank you,
modelling to sort of typical head.
Yes.
And obviously, presumably, there are different opinions about what a typical head might function.
Many, it seems, yes, yes, exactly. To try and approach some sort of normal head is quite difficult, I think. But we've got there are only 2 selections in the Noisemakers one, Noisemaker's own HRDF and the YouTube one. Obviously, if you were working towards a YouTube product, you would select the YouTube one, so that what you're hearing, which I know
that has changed. Yes, okay, that is very different. It's a bit hard to say as I move around. It's a bit hard to say which one is. They're just very different. I think personally I would prefer the Noisemaker's own one, but you're listening to it, yeah, they're just very different. That the way it's modelled into the binaural, the way I'm now effectively experiencing the 360 sound in my ears as binaural is different.
Totally
It's a different model.
Yeah, totally different. And if we were to go into some other tools, you can incidentally, if you've got your own HRTF file, you can drop it into that program and have your own. But
Okay, can you put it back onto the noisemakers one, please? Much more comfortable to listen to, I think.
In this fairly noisy environment here in the hall, yeah. I'll just show you this will sound rather odd in your ears, so feel free to take the headphones off.
Yes, because this is another solution from Harpex. And yes, okay, I'm now talking, and there's a significant amount of latency, which is making it quite hard to talk.
And that's the reason we're not using it for a live demonstration. As you know, of course, with a recorded product, it wouldn't matter necessarily. But the nice thing about that one,
and again,
there are many things that are nice about this plugin, but I'm not here to sell the Harpex plugin to you, so.
But again, it's a very different modelling process. It's a very different sound in my ears.
And other ambisonic renderers are available.
Yes, indeed.
What have we missed?
So that really gives you a sense of how we can use the Sennheiser Ambeo to capture in A format, to then convert to B format. In essence, the conversion to B format is probably something we have to do pretty quickly, because the A format we can't really do anything with, but it's the capture. It's essentially the audio from each one of those 4 capsules being captured on a separate track. We then put it to B format. B format gives us the ability to do lots of things. It's not just for Ambisonics. There are B format to 5.1 up mixers and there's a whole range of things. So presumably this, because obviously we've had the Soundfield mic for a long time, but what I see about this is it's much more user-friendly out in the field. I mean, taking a Soundfield out in the field was always a challenge. It seems to me that the way this mic's been made is very much for acquisition. And a much more suitable device for getting stuff for VR without having to take half a ton of kit.
I hope so. I'm glad you were saying that. Yeah. Far better than me saying it. Yes, that's the idea. That's the intention. Yeah.
And what's the sort of price point for this?
The price is £1,500, £1,500 list.
And available to buy now?
It is available to buy. It is available to buy now. In the package, you get the microphone itself, the Rycote suspension, because the microphone itself, as you can see, is very solid. There is no elastic suspension inside the mic, so we have the Rycote suspension as part of the package. You get the foam windshield, the extension lead. This is a 12-pin. It's only short, but it's the length that was determined to be about right from talking to users, and the 4-pin XLR split lead to allow you to plug it into a recorder. That's all part of the package, and of course the vital quick start guide is also other way up. Is also in the package. That's what you get. There are other accessories. If you're taking this outside, then the foam windshield is obviously an essential, but you're almost certainly going to need more wind protection. And there are a number of accessories from Rycote, and I'm sure from others, that you can put on that to give it greater wind protection.
Great. Lovely. Thank you very much. Well, there we go. A bit of an introduction into Ambisonics and workflows for virtual reality. I'm Mike Thornton, and for Pro Tools Expert, and see you again soon.